this with me. But never has this parliament on either side ever gone into what I have seen. And I make bold to say that this is a new breed of parliamentarians, because never before have we had this type of behavior. I have been the speaker. I have been opposed. We have had differences, but nobody has behaved in the way members of this new parliament has behaved to any speaker.
Welcome back to another episode of JAtalks. My name is Jassam, and for today we'll be speaking about the protest that took place in Kingston this week, and also the catastrophe in Parliament. Marisa Dalrymple-Philibert accused the People's National Party and singled out Nikisha Burchell, saying that she's a new breed. We'll talk about this and more after the break.
Yo, Jassam Productions presents JAtalks. Director Jassam in the building. Policy, politics, current affairs. Let's go! From the hills of Manchester to the world stage, we turning the leaf, we opening the page. No smiling dentist talk, we keep it real and raw. The truth about the island, from the mountain to the shore. We walk about policy, we talk about politics. Current affairs, we give you all the facts, no tricks. Parliament clash or the latest news trend. JAtalks at the place where the message transcend. JAtalks, we attack the truth. JAtalks, inspiring the youth, substance over style, making nation wise. Open up your ears and open up your eyes. Hit the red button, make the community grow. Like the video now, so the world can know. Hit the bell, don't miss a beat, no delay. JAtalks, the only voice you need today.
Subscribe to the JAtalks movement. Remember, your independence is the foundation of your liberation. So we will begin now with the story that took place on Tuesday of this week. Tuesday was when? Tuesday was in June, the 30th of June. There was a massive protest that took place, and so they were protesting two things. So essentially, they were against the TCN deal that took place, and also Andrew Wheatley being in Parliament. Essentially, that was what they were complaining about, right? I believe it was Kay Osborne who was leading. Yes, Kay Osborne. For those of us who do not know who Kay Osborne is, she used to be the general manager for TVJ, and she stepped down, and then I believe she became in charge of Jamaicans for Justice. And I don't know what she has been doing since then. I haven't seen or heard of her since then. That has been like years ago. And out of the blue, she's here now, protesting on behalf of Jamaica. They're all wearing their Jamaican colors, and yes, they're protesting on behalf of Jamaica. Alright, cool, I have a problem with that. That's not for nothing. But yes, so essentially they are protesting. Now, in the middle of the protest, while they were protesting, members of the People's National Party decided to join as well. And so the president and other senior members, I believe I saw Julian Robinson as well, and other persons had joined in as well. And so you realize that the members of the People's National Party would have decided to capitalize on this for a political move, for political football. What I find interesting, though, because with what Mark Golding would have said, wasn't he the same one who said that basically speaking, if he was the Prime Minister and the US came to him, he would essentially do the same as well?
It is a fact that the US are a close ally of ours and have been very helpful to us in many ways, including after Hurricane Melissa. And if they have a serious problem and they're asking for our assistance, I wouldn't likely ignore that or reject that.
Oh, I mean, it's there, the interview is there, and he would have said that. So what exactly is the issue? I guess the issue they're saying that as a whole, it was leaked out to them, and they're making it look or seem as though, according to them, the government would have hid this from the Jamaican public. This is not something that can be hid from the public, because I believe it would have been eventually the government of Jamaica would have eventually made it clear on in terms of the memorandum of understanding and what would have taken place. I am fully aware because I had to do my research, and yes, the government is correct on the memorandum of understanding. So the MOU has not been created as yet, and in almost literally every time you see the government signing a memorandum of understanding, everything has been ironed out first, and then now they'll make the announcement. So being that the MOU has not been signed as yet, has not come out as yet, has not been finalized as yet, that would have been the main reason why the government did not say anything to the Jamaican public, because really and truly them can't say no until nothing come out yet. You understand? Everything has not been signed off as yet. So the person who made the announcement made it for two reasons. Obviously this is a big deal, so therefore this is going to attract persons, and also I guess it comes off as nefarious because you want to sell a particular information or sell a particular narrative that you wanted to sell a particular narrative that the government is doing this in secret. But in all honesty though, when Portia went to China, when Jamaica signs any form of memorandum of understanding, a lot of things happen in the background before you see the officials signing that document. Weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks prior to that would have taken place in the background, where the government officials, both the Jamaican government and the foreign government, whether it be the US, whether it be China, whether it be Japan, whether any country, any memorandum of understanding, there would be weeks that would have taken place where there is an understanding that would have taken place, and they iron out the details, and then now you have the official ceremony where they come to the public and they make the grand announcement, and then you see them taking pictures and signing the actual memorandum of understanding. None of this has taken place as yet, right? So to make it seem as though the government is being malicious because they have not let Jamaicans know what the memorandum of understanding is. To be frank and honest with you, this was not supposed to be announced to the Jamaican people as yet, because nothing has been finalized. So I understand from the concept of where the government is coming from, this has not been finalized as yet. So the government would not be in any position to say anything as yet until everything is finalized. But then now let us move on to the second point, in that I made the breaking news announcement as well, and we all saw that video circulating with Marco Rubio saying that they want to give different countries America's most disgusting citizens, right? We all saw that video. Everybody saw that video. So I don't know why everybody are going like or behaving brand new. My question for the persons who are advocating and the Jamaicans who are advocating against the TCN, because, and I've said this before, because I don't have I am also against TCN, but at this current point, there's not much we can do right now, at least. What exactly are you expecting the government to do? I'm curious to know. What exactly? So let us say we reject it, because the report was there that they were going to reject Jamaica's visas. You understand? And it can get from bad to worse. I would have exclaimed and explained that, hey, the fact that, for example, with US and visa, and I'm talking your Visa card and your MasterCard, they can shut that down. They can put out an advisory. That's something that they always done in the past, where they put out a travel advisory to affect and to hurt the tourism industry. Jamaica currently right now is way too intertwined and dependent on the United States. And so if it is that we decide to say no to the US, currently, what exactly is the alternative? Can you survive like Cuba? Can you be in that position to be in the dark? Because I have no interest to be like that right now. Me personally don't have no interest to be in the dark. Like go ahead, I'm a mad, I'm crass. So I can't afford to be in the dark. What exactly are you asking the government to do? And so we have to be rational with what we're doing. We have to be rational with our decisions. We have to be rational with what we take to task. Now, I have outrightly come out and criticized this government. Yes, I have criticized the government because the government of Jamaica continues to strengthen our dependency on the United States. So I like something, no cost the government. Yes, me cost the government. Of course, me cost the government. But of course, me class the government. Because their plan is to grow the tourism industry, right? their plan is to strengthen our dependency on the United States. So of course we're going to cost the government. Because now, now that we have seen that this is not the first time we're seeing this, and not just now, and not just this year we are seeing this. You understand? Donald Trump said what he was going to do. We saw this from back in from 2016, between 2016 to 2020. That's all in here. We saw that. We got a little break. So Donald Trump, he announced all of this that he was going to do, right, in his first term, right? And so we saw the potential of what could have unfolded. And the government between 2020 and 2025 was complacent, for lack of a better word, and was not moving as speedily as they should have. We got a breathing room and there was not much acceleration. And of course, we are a reactive nation and now we are stuck reacting and now we're here bearing the fruits of our labor because we have been complacent. That is what I take to task the government too. That is how I cuss off the government. That is how I hold the government of Jamaica accountable. But this protest makes absolutely no sense. And my other issue with the Jamaican people is that they love to come and find issues and find problems. Okay then, do you have a solution? Do you have a solution? What is your solution to the problem? Because a lot of the times you people come and you argue, but you have no solution. So you argue for argument's sake. But what is the solution? What is the alternative to that problem that you are taking to task the government to? What is it? I'll also say this as well. The People's National Party capitalizes on the dunceness and the ignorance of the Jamaican people. Because it was the president of Mark Golden, PNP president, who made it clear that he would do the very same thing. So why is he there now protesting? Why? This is not the first time he's doing this. Because I recall back in, I believe, last year, 2025, before the election, when Dennis Chung was appointed as the FID, right, the head of the FID, and there were a lot of Jamaicans who were protesting. Watch the video.
Protesters seemed confused about what exactly the protest was about and the functions of the FID.
You have a placard saying Dennis Chung and the FID. What do you know about the FID?
Well, I don't know. I don't know but you know, I'm here for a change.
He cannot lead the FID. He doesn't have the qualifications to lead the FID.
Why I say that? What do you understand about the agency itself?
I don't understand about the agency, but all I know is that the man only can account.
I know it was an organization that was formed to politicians to declare their assets true. Chung don't support it.
You sure that's the Integrity Commission though, not the FID. You just mentioned
601 after, I'm not sure. But that is it.
Why Chung must go?
Because he's not qualified.
So why do you say the agency is corrupt?
No, they don't investigate no crime. They're investigating corruption.
There were a lot of Jamaicans protesting. Imagine you are protesting against something that you don't understand. Imagine you don't understand the reporter asks you about it and you do not understand what you are protesting about. Make that make sense, Jamaica. This is not the first time the People's National Party has capitalized on the dunceness of the Jamaican people. This is not the first time. And I ask a fundamental question again, what do you expect the government to do? Which is why I talk and say, I don't want me to cuss government, I don't want no PNP somebody jump into the argument and jive because you don't make no sense. You have no, when you argue, it doesn't come from a place of logics. You just complain for complain's sake, and now when me cuss the government, if turn on and cuss you too, because you don't make no sense. Because how is it that you're going to argue, you're going to blockroad, you're going to protest and go on the most way, you're going to be so upset for something you don't understand? Make that make sense. You don't understand what are the main reason you are protesting, but you are protesting. And if I say Derval, they say you know say a foolish this. Because Derval is a blogger that makes up things out of the top of his head and complains about the government. It don't make no sense. No sense in the make none at all. And you people have the PNP gaslighting you, capitalizing on you, when they're the same thing, when they know better. So right now, none of this don't make no sense. I don't know, like, this is foolishness right now. This is complete rubbish. On to the next story. Now, this here now, Marisa Dalrymple-Philibert, would have attacked and called out Nikisha Burchell, and I believe a lot of persons have been giving flack to Nikisha Burchell because they're saying, and again, I repeatedly say this, but that I work on facts, not feelings, and a lot of persons are working on feelings and not looking at the facts. Persons have criticized her for speaking patois in the parliament, which I don't have a problem with. As a matter of fact, patois should be legalized. A lot of persons, her presentation actually made sense, and I understand where the opposition is coming from, where they feel like they're unfairly treated. And the point and the argument that the opposition, not the opposition, the point and the argument that Marisa Dalrymple-Philibert came up with when she stood and she addressed the opposition, she said that there was a new breed of parliamentarians and also singled out Nikisha Burchell, right? Watch the clip first of all.
Guys, this evening, as a former speaker of this house, and I had discussions with my senior minister, who is also a former speaker of this house. And I have heard all the comments and I have seen everything. And I really think we have reached a time in this parliament where we must be absolutely honest with ourselves. And there are members on that side of the house that I have a lot of regard for. They oppose certain things and they do it in a manner that is how the parliaments of this country have always operated. And one of the overriding things that I know as a speaker, one of the overriding principles is that the speaker's ruling must always be respected. Always. No speaker is perfect. You might not always get it right, but the speaker's ruling is always to be respected. And in all the years that I've been here, when I sat as the speaker, I had a lot of disagreements with me, but never has this parliament on either side ever gone into what I have seen. And I make bold to say that this is a new breed of parliamentarians, because never before have we had this type of behavior. I have been the speaker. I have been opposed. We have had differences, but nobody has behaved in the way members of this new parliament has behaved to any speaker. And I'm going to say very frankly, it brings back to my mind the comment that was made originally before the speaker was chosen. A member of the People's National Party had put out a notice. They did not want the present speaker or myself to be the speaker. I'm not the speaker, but the speaker is the speaker that has been chosen. She is the speaker. She is the Prime Minister's wife. Hold on. And I congratulate your member who spoke this evening. She spoke about behavior and the way we treat our women, I want to say it is not a good look for us to treat a female who is a speaker. And I'm going to go further. I'm going to make very bold, because many people have said things and many people have gone wrong, many people have gone right. But you know, the older members of parliament, I look and I see the present leader of opposition business, who was also the leader of opposition business when I was a speaker. And you just watch his profile. Never before have we had the type of behavior. And I'm calling it as I see it. The member, hold on, the member on that side from South St. James, I am saying particularly to her, I have never seen anybody behave to any speaker the way she has done. And hold on, I want to say that the member, I am not to call names, that spoke just before me. No, I'm not calling your name, but I'm saying to you, although you have had difficulties, and although you have said things, and although I have never heard you behave the way that the member from South St. James as a female has brought into this parliament. I'm calling her out because she's young, she's new, she's female, and we have a female speaker. And if you do anything with the revision, it doesn't matter what you do about the standing orders. The standing orders, if you revise it 1,000,000 times over, the speaker's ruling must always be respected. And that is why the member who spoke before me came into this parliament and made an apology for certain incidents. You have never done it, and your behavior has brought a new high to this thing. I am speaking on my feet, and I'm saying to you now that maybe many people will not say it openly. I stand this afternoon because I feel strongly about it, and I feel that the speaker in her position as the Prime Minister's wife and as a female, yes, I say it as it is because that's part of the objection. But let me tell you something. Never before has anybody been as disrespectful. And I could go on and on. And nobody, no other member that is old has behaved the way you have behaved. I say to you, no other member of the opposition, and you should not speak to me across the aisle. I'm addressing the parliament. And I am saying to you, I am not inciting anybody. I don't care if you don't like it, because I don't like the attack. I do not like the attack. It is obvious. Remember, I do not like, and I do not think it is right. And I say it with absolutely no malice. I say it this afternoon because I heard your own member speak about gender. And let me tell you, there are so many females that have joined this parliament that are excellent, oppose, and do not behave that way. It is a new trend. For God's sake, let us stop it. And while we review the standing orders, just let us remember that if you review it 1,000,000 times over, the speaker's views and ruling must always be respected. And I really am...
Member.
All right, so question now. Here's my question to Marisa Dalrymple-Philibert. Of all persons, what authority do you have to call out anybody? Weren't you the Speaker of the House previously, and you were terminated from your position? And that is how Juliet Holness, because initially Juliet Holness was the Deputy Speaker and you were the Speaker. And if memory serves me right, you had an issue with the Integrity Commission and you were fired from your post. And so that was how Juliet Holness became Speaker. What moral authority do you have to speak on anybody? What moral authority do you have to call out Nikisha Burchell? What moral authority? Of all the persons, I spoke about Robert Morgan as well, because and I recognize there's a trend. Robert Morgan really not Nikisha Burchell, because I forgot I posted this when Nikisha did her she did her presentation at first, and she said that some stations are getting basically a tax write-off from the government, and it was what's name again? Robert Morgan as well, who got up and spoke out against her and did a point of order, in which the point of order never really did fly. Right, and it fell flat. And he was the same person who did another point of order calling out Nikisha Burchell for using her phone when he himself was using his cell phone. And the trend I'm noticing, apparently Robert Morgan really like her, but separate from that though, the trend I'm noticing is that the very same offenders of the rule are the first ones to quickly jump up and to point out and to call out people on the opposition side, especially Nikisha Burchell. The same persons who have absolutely no moral authority. You do not have any moral authority to call out nobody, Miss Lady. Sit down. But you jump up here and call out Nikisha Burchell. And I'm going to be bold enough. She's going to be bold. Lady, sit down and tap your eyes. Sit down. Sit down. You of all persons do not have any moral authority to call out anybody. Anybody else could have called out her. Not you. Sit down. You were the opposition spokesperson. Sorry, not correction. You were the Speaker of the House. I'm sorry. You were fired from the position. And then the argument that she's saying was that regardless of the standing order, you must respect the speaker's take. That doesn't make any sense, because the standing order governs how the both the parties, PNP and JLP, members of parliament, are supposed to conduct themselves in the parliament. And if it is, the purpose of the speaker is to enforce and to uphold the standing order. It cannot be that you have rules for thee, but not for me. The purpose of the speaker of the house is to enforce the standing order. It cannot be that you're relaxing the rules for certain persons, but you are enforcing the rules for other persons. That is not in the standing order. It cannot be that the rules of the standing order are bent for certain persons, and then you're going to say you must respect the speaker. That's not how it works. So the rubbish that you came up to say you're going to be bold to speak about, it's utter rubbish and garbage. Sit down. You have no moral authority, and you come out and talk about how the speaker is supposed to be respected. Essentially, you're saying that the speaker has the latitude to bend the rules however he or she feels, because they're the speaker of the house. That's not how it works. And that is exactly what you are doing as speaker. You are a terrible speaker. You do not have any moral authority to correct anybody when you have a checkered past. Sit down. Sit down and be quiet. You don't have no authority to attack nobody. You don't have no moral authority to be addressing anybody. You don't. Sit down. Sit down. I mentioned and I said that because the PNP was having a lot of issues with the Speaker of the House, and they stated that they were being unfairly treated. And one of the things I said, and I gave my advice, that hey, fine, if you feel that way, because again, I am not here to say that or to discount anybody's feelings, and if that's what they're experiencing, fine. And I made it clear in a previous video that if you feel a certain way, follow the standing order. Follow the rules of the standing order. Simple. The purpose, the speaker is not supposed to be able to find fault with you if you are following the standing order. That is the purpose of the standing order. Regardless of who is the Speaker of the House, The speaker is supposed to follow the standing order. So you, Miss former Speaker of the House, who was fired, coming up to say that you should respect the speaker, irrespective of the standing order, is utter and complete rubbish. Rules for thee, but not for me. And on top of it, you have no moral authority. Sit down. Sit down. You have no moral authority to address anybody. So you being bold, you know what I'm saying? Wrong and strong? Yeah. You're wrong and strong, beloved. Sit down. Thank you very much for another episode of JAtalks. And we are going strong. I believe we are at 339 subscribers. Thank you very much, everyone. And we have a lot to coming in the coming weeks. This is my first video in the month of July. Wow. Okay. So yes, always remember, please never forget, everyone, that your independence is the foundation of your liberation. Walk good, Jamaica.